We're going to take a look at Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition. We're going to go through what's in the game.
What the hell are those?
Is it any different than the original?
Gas bags.
And so on and so on.
They're harmless. Oh God, what happened?
So let's
here?
try and get a feel for the interface and the rest of it. As you can see, that brings up the interface. There's some quick keys at the top. And the two characters below the health bar. These are the items. You can select weapons for each squad member, including yourself in the middle. Plus any abilities that your characters have, or your party. This game has quite a lot of cutscenes in it, so if you've never played this franchise before, I should point this out as well. I won't get too involved, I don't want to spoil it for you. If you're coming back from playing Mass Effect, the original version, I don't think you're gonna excuse me, I don't think you're gonna notice anything different, to be honest. It all looks the same to me. The graphics, they've been tweaked. I've had a look online to compare them. I mean, people have done comparisons, and some look lighter and darker. That's the only difference, I would say.
Ripped right through his shields. We're out of chance.
Sometimes Marines die. The rest of us just have to
But for the
carry
new
on.
guys,
We still have to
there's
find that
quite a
beacon.
bit of interaction in this. It's
Aye,
not
aye,
just
sir.
a first-person shooter or third-person. There's quite a few cutscenes, and BioWare telling the story of Mass Effect, which is a fantastic story. So you can see we're still in a tutorial here.
I've got some burned out buildings here.
Now one of the things you can do
A lot of bodies.
is if you run towards
I'm gonna check
cover
it out.
with your weapon drawn,
I'll try to catch up with you at the
you can
dig
take
site.
cover against whatever it is, such as the wall or the rocks. So that's regarding leveling up. If you're new to the game, this is not going to make much of a difference, if I'm being honest. All BioWare games are similar to this. The stats, the loot, everything else doesn't really matter. If you watch the long play that I did on my other channel, you'll see that I pretty much just go through the game with what I've got, and I don't bother selling anything, and I don't bother using the different aspects of the omnigels and things like that. None of it is necessary. Perhaps, I don't know, on some of the higher difficulties. So here we can send our squad mates forward. So Q to there, E to the other tree. The problem with this, for me personally, is it doesn't make any difference again. Any mobs that come running at you will make a beeline straight for your main character. Your squad mates will be ignored completely, even if they are the only ones that are firing at whatever enemy it is, which I thought was pretty poor. Again, that is indicative of BioWare games. of the cutscene. I tend to like the cutscenes. They tell a good story. I like how the story unfolds. Again, this is another BioWare trait. It's a positive one though. I do enjoy it. The only aspect I'm not keen on is the dialogue in these games. As you're going to see shortly, you select a dialogue option, but that isn't what is said. It's roughly a general guide on what's going to be said. So if there's a dialogue option saying put your weapon down and you select it, it won't actually say put your weapon down. It'll say something similar or with a similar meaning, as you'll find out shortly.
Give me a status report, Williams.
Give me a status report, Williams.
We were patrolling
And I
the
selected
perimeter
what
when the
happened here.
attack hit.
So, as you can see,
We tried
you
to get
don't
off at
actually
Distress
know.
Hall, but
I
they
mean,
cut
this
off
is
our
probably
communications.
nothing,
I've been
but you
fighting
don't
for my
actually
life
know
ever
what you're going to
since.
say. You've just got a general idea of what you're going to
Where's
say.
the rest of your squad?
We tried to double back to the beacon, but we walked into an ambush. I don't think
I
any of
would
the others.
personally rather
I
select
think I'm the only one left.
what I want to say.
Any idea what kind of enemy we're facing?
I think they're Geth.
The Geth haven't been seen outside the Veil in nearly 200 years. Why are they here now?
They must have come for the beacon. The dig site is close, just over that rise. It might still be there.
We could use your help, Williams.
Aye, aye, sir. It's time for payback.
Move out.
So again, the leveling up screen here, the game is easing you into the leveling up process. As I said before, I don't think this really matters. The only thing that I'd select in there is anything to do with health and armor. You'll fill most of it in regardless anyway, so.
The beacon's at the far end of this trench.
The option to reduce stuff to Omnigel, or just to take the item here as well. I find the Omnigel to be completely useless. So here we are now. Run to the waypoint to take cover. As you can see, you can't take cover without having the weapon drawn. And there we go, you get you back to the wall. There's a couple of issues with this that are a bit buggy. The field of vision is pretty crap. If something runs up close to you, you can't see anything. Not to mention that it zooms up really close to Shepard, so if anything's coming towards you, you can't see anything until it's right on top of you.
Hostile spotted!
Quick look at the keybinds. As you can see from the keybinds, you cannot select party members in this game. I've not seen a mod for doing it either. As far as I'm aware, they just go wherever you assign them to go, but that's it. And that's the extent there of the control. At the time of playing this, there was no patches that I'm aware of to update the game. In fact, if we're being honest, anything that needed to be addressed should have been addressed in development because they've already got the game. It's not like they need to have it out there in the wild and people report bugs back.
Status. Sensors reveal 3 fusion torches propelling asteroid.
It's another quest from later in the game.
At its current rate of acceleration, the asteroid will collide with Terra Nova in approximately 4 hours. Analysis. Torches must be disabled.
So there's our objective for that.
Acceleration.
And while we're covering that, I'll just go over a couple of other things.
Can you hear me?
The voice acting in the game is fantastic. It always with BioWare games. It's very immersive. It's very good storytelling. The game elements themselves, they don't always add up, such as the fact that I never actually sold anything, so that makes the currency useless. I didn't really upgrade anything apart from what I found in the boxes. So some of the elements of the gameplay are a bit redundant. But as a whole, as a story and the game itself, it's pretty good considering this is 2007 as well. And all they've done is give it a lick of paint. It's pretty good. The graphics are not an issue for me in the previous game. As I've said, I cannot tell the difference. If you go online and have a look on YouTube and you see a Mass Effect screenshot, if you cannot tell whether it's the new version or the old version, well, that should be enough to tell you how good the old version is. I've had a quick look online and I cannot find any mods for this game. But actually, that's not correct. There's a few mods, but there's nothing meaningful. There's nothing that's going to add an extra chapter to the game like your typical modding community does. It's nothing like Minecraft or anything like that. I'm not sure why that is. Usually BioWare games are pretty community based, but this isn't. It might be an EA thing where they're trying to rake in money with DLC and shite like that, which the game suffers for that, because one of the best aspects of these games, especially BioWare games, is the modding community. The stuff they produce is fantastic. It's every bit as good, if not better, than a lot of the BioWare stuff. So I think that is a missed opportunity with this game. Maybe they'll be addressed at a later date when EA see there's no money left in the franchise or no money left in the Legendary Edition. But at that point it'll be too late.
Headed in the right direction. I don't know who you are, but I'm damn it.
As you can see, the vehicle combat here on the surface of the asteroid, you get to access this vehicle several times. And it's an extra dimension to the game, I suppose. As you can see on the radar there, there's a couple of hostiles left. And I like the view with the planets in the background. So this is an aspect of the game that I do like. It's not meant to test you, I don't think, in any way. And this is a bit of a rinse and repeat scenario as well as you play in the game. You're going to find yourself going into these buildings and then going on another quest, entering the buildings, shooting a few bad guys, collecting some data and then coming back. I think that's the nature of the game though. As you can see, some interesting aliens. Here we go, the screen pause here to issue our commands. No, we're reloaded. There you can damage his shields. But as you'll see, I've had a dog there at my feet. I didn't even know it was there. And it was chomping away on my leg, and I had no idea it was there. This is the point of the camera angles that I was making before. You can't see what's directly in front of you because the camera's right in his face. And that's a bit of a pain in the ass, really. Especially on this game, because you need to see what's going on in these volatile situations. So moving around, like I'm doing here, is an option. That way you get to see what's what. But running out of cover, again, is not a good idea.
It's over now.
Again, there's no game-breaking annoyances in there, but we could have done without them. Now this is a hacking attempt, as you can see there, to open a box. You can loot the stuff or take the Omnigel. Distraction, nothing more. As you can see here from the equipment screen now, we've got a katana, and, well, different weapons here for the different characters, and you'll see the DPS differences there at the top. Equip that one. You can change the ammo. Some of this ammo is good for synthetics, some of it's good for organics. So you can tweak your weapons. One thing I do like about this, if you do find a better gun later on and you pick it up, it will automatically transfer your mods into the new gun, which is a big plus. But you can see the massive DPS difference there, and I've only just bothered I might have had that gun for the last hour or two of gameplay and not bothered equipping it. Which is what I was referring to earlier about the loot. The loot is not critical to success in this game. Neither are the talent points. Now take that any way you like, but this is not going to be like a D&D thing where you're trying to min-max your character to get the ultimate, I don't know, wizard, warrior, whatever.
Something scrambled. They're targeting. We got a shot. Chief Williams, take the heat off Manavai.
And in typical BioWare fashion, you will have to choose at certain key points in the game the lesser of two evils. I'll not get too involved in that, I don't want to spoil it for you, but you'll have to make some difficult decisions on your squad mates and the way the things that the games are mapping out. Is it good or evil? Are you trying to take a neutral point? As a bit of a tip, it's if you have a soldier aspect to one character and then the biotics aspect to another character, that should be enough to get through the game. You can also have the yeah, I can't quite turn and shoot there. But right on the edge of the rock, and it's making turning and shooting impossible. You have to come out of cover to do it. In fact, I think I saw a mod for the camera, but this should have been addressed back in 2007. It's 2021. You know, it's still an issue.
They're calling SAT strikes. Jayeto, watch for comm stations. Williams, can you see anything?
As you can see that floating again, it's not visible. I can see I'm taking damage, but I can't see where it's coming from. And it's quite happily hovering above me, shooting me, and completely ignoring my companions that might be peppering it. So just to recap, there is no difference whatsoever really in the 2000 version and the Legendary 2021 edition. There's no real difference I can see. I defy anyone to have a look at this game online and identify what version they're looking at without actually seeing it identified in the credits or whether it's in the title or something like that. If you're looking at this game, you will not be able to tell the difference between the previous one and the new one. Now that begs the question, should you purchase the new version? A quick look on eBay reveals you can pick Mass Effect 1 up for £2. That might be about €3 wherever you're at. So for €3 you can pick up the first, and probably €3 for the second and €3 for the third. You'll get hard physical copies, not necessarily the DLC for the third one, but you will pick up physical copies and you would have the game proper. So you can put it on whichever PC you want. You don't have to be restricted to Steam and Origin or wherever, you know, the platforms this ends up on eventually. The price now, it's a little bit dear for me. I mean, when you can pick up the original with no real difference, I'd say this is way overpriced. If you've never played the game, I suggest getting the original, getting it patched and playing that. Another reason to support buying the original version rather than the 2021 version is the fact that they haven't addressed any of the bugs from the 2007 version. This in itself would force me to go down that route. If they can't be bothered fixing the bugs and bringing the game up to standard, then you may as well go with the original bug copy rather than the new bug copy that'll cost you 10 to 20 times as much money. So that's worth thinking about on its own. If money's not an issue to you, then by all means get this version. If you're a returning gamer who's already played the original and you're wondering whether you should play this, absolutely not. There is absolutely nothing in this game that you have been missing. I'm going to long play the second one. I've not actually reviewed the second one yet, but the game did make some improvements as time went on, and we'll have a look at that in due course. But for the first game, I see no real reason to buy the Legendary Edition. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. I hope it's been of some use to you. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please leave us a like and consider subscribing. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you very much.